Divorcing my wife after she demands a third kid after my vasectomy reversal refusal, because we've only agreed on 2. My wife and I have 2 kids, 9,6. After the second one she said she was done having kids even though we had discussed having 3 prior to marriage. We talked about it for a long time but I love her and I agreed to change our plans. She had an IUD but we still used condoms. She really didn't want to get pregnant. About 4 years ago we agreed that I would get a vasectomy. It made sense since it was a minor surgery unlike her getting tubal ligation. It went well and after I healed up I went for testing and it worked. If you ever get a vasectomy please do the follow-up testing. My friend from college thought he was good to go and now he has a kid. So she got her IUD removed and we stopped using condoms and life was good. Until her sister each had another kid. Then one of her friends had a baby. And my wife went nuts. She wants another baby. She made a mistake and wants me to go get my vasectomy reversed. Or to get my sperm harvested and get IVF. The fuck, I'm getting a needle in my balls or another operation. And we are actually doing great financially right now. Her taking 2 years off from work would be a big hit. I said we could look at adoption or fostering but that I was not interested in her having another kid. She tried bringing up our agreement from before we got married but I shut that down immediately. So for the last 4 months our marriage has been a simmering battle about another kid. She has had her parents over, my parents over, her sisters and their families. All trying to convince me that I should give in. Fuck that noise. I am almost 44. In 12 years my youngest will be starting their career or their post-secondary education. I can see the finish line now. I did offer all the family members that chimed in a fun option. I agreed to get TASA, sperm harvesting, if all the men who agreed with my wife did it as well. Even if they working ball tubes. At their own expense. And that they pool their money and pay for all bills related to IVF and the raising of the third kid. They all say I'm being ridiculous and petty. I reminded them that as a unit they all agreed with my wife when she said she was fine with 2 kids. They wanted to have input then and it was free. I said this decision would require skin in the game. It all came to a head last weekend. My folks had the boys so we could have a nice couple of days to ourselves. Instead my wife and I got into a screaming match. She said I obviously didn't love her if I wasn't willing to do this. That we are well off enough to afford all the expenses of another kid. Blah blah blah. I told her no in no uncertain terms. We had money in the bank for retirement and fun. And that's what it was for. Not for her to get her hormones calmed down. She accused me of caring more about money than her happiness. I reminded her that she was the one who insisted that having a third kid would demolish her career. She started crying and saying I was an asshole for denying her another kid. That it was not that much of a sacrifice. I finally unloaded and said that a divorce would be cheaper for me than another kid. That shocked her into silence. We have barely spoken since. I think I broke her. Our retirement funds are separate, our house is in both our names and she earns slightly more than I do. If we get divorced I will get 50-50 custody. I would want it. She would get no alimony and I might get a few dollars in child support. I feel shitty threatening her with divorce. I love her and want to spend the rest of my life with her but I am sick and tired of having her make our reproductive decisions like my opinion does not matter. A bunch of you keep asking how I would tell my sons that I am divorcing their mom because she wants another baby. I just typed this as a reply but I actually like it enough to paste it here so you can stop asking. Mommy and Daddy agreed, before getting married, that we would have 3 babies. But then Mommy got an important job and did not want to, and I quote, waste her time having another kid and wrecking her body again. Daddy was sad so he held on for 4 years hoping she would change her mind. But then they talked and she said it was a permanent decision. Since Daddy loved Mommy he did not want her to be hurt even a tiny bit. So Daddy went to the doctor. At the doctor they gave Daddy medicine so he would not feel pain. Then they cut his ball sack open a tiny bit and burned the connection between his balls and the rest of his body. Daddy could not feel it but he fucking still remembers that smell. Then Mommy did not need to do anything to not have a baby anymore and she was happy. For almost 2 years. Then Auntie Joy and Annie Carmen and Mommy's friend Maddie all had baby girls. And it made Mommy sad and jealous that the girls were getting all the attention. So Mommy talked to Daddy and said go to the doctor and have him fuck with your balls some more. This made Daddy upset because the fuck I will. Mommy got lots of people to try and tell him to change his mind. But Daddy is happy with his life and told them all to ingest a gigantic satchel of Richards. Mommy spent 4 months day and night bugging Daddy non-stop. Then remember when you stayed with Oma and Opa? Mommy and Daddy were going to have a fun weekend just doing Mommy and Daddy stuff. Until she just would not fucking drop it. So Daddy told her that if him and his sons were not enough for her then he would say that they should go their separate ways. But Daddy loves you boys very much and you are more than enough for him and he will always be there for you. JFC. I would never actually say that to my sons. Once again it was just a response to all the not so bright people asking how I would explain it to them. Odds are I would take them to a family counselor so that I could tell them and then deal with some of the aftermath.